entrepreneurs understand the value of their time, and entrepreneurs are also some of the most incredibly giving and like want to help other entrepreneurs. I genuinely have always found that. If you're reaching out to someone you've looked up to for years on LinkedIn or Instagram or that kind of thing, I think going in and knowing exactly what you're looking for advice on them on is a really good starting point. So not reaching out to be them and being like, hey, I'm looking for a mentor, will you be my mentor? More so being like, hey, I saw that you launched a book 5 years ago and like it's so big. Like I wanted to pick your brain on, your marketing or launch strategy. How did you do it? Can I have 15 minutes of your time? So I think just like getting that initial hook and being clear and intentional with why you respect and admire them will get them intrigued, and you can build that relationship naturally into a mentorship role rather than just being like, be my mentor.
Yeah. Victoria, so nice to see you. Super excited to have you on the show today. I can't wait to share your story with the audience and get them excited about your new product that you're about to launch in market. So for those who don't know Victoria, give us a quick bio about yourself so that we can entice the audience.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. So I am the co-founder of Mave Chez. We're an ergonomic slipper brand for the stylish woman. So our mission really is to empower women to be their best selves with every step. Going to tell you a lot more about our journey in making an ergonomic slipper made for all day wear for women. A lot more, but prior to that, I am a successful business owner. I've been running businesses for the past 10 years, 2 six-figure service-based businesses. So made the transition into the product space through the pandemic. I am also a dance teacher and choreographer, was an ex-professional dancer, so my heart is always in the arts. Creativity and entrepreneurship, I feel like they go hand in hand. So that's a little bit about me. I'm also very passionate about travel, spend a lot of time working remotely in places like Mexico and Belize and all over the world. So very passionate about, living hard and working hard.
I love it. I love it. That's so funny. You always learn something new about people. I had no idea about your dance experience and background. So that is super interesting, super excited. And not surprising, because one of the questions that I wanted to throw out at you later on in the interview, but I'll just do it now anyway, is about your Instagram. Your Instagram account is so much fun. And I'm like, how the heck is she so creative? B, how does she find the time? And there probably was a C at some point, but I forget now. But let us know. Your Instagram is a lot of fun. I have no idea how you do it. So share with us some tidbits. Like your reels are just hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad I have at least one fan out there. Thanks, Sam. So listen, I mean, I learned like early on in my entrepreneur journey that I didn't want to follow the mold of what other people did. So being authentic and genuine to myself on social media has always been a big thing for me. So I've been, like I said, I've been in the arts since I was 5 years old, was always that creative, quirky, unique kid, and always was a little bit awkward. But I feel now in this social media era, social media gives me that opportunity to really like express who I really am. And that's where all the funny reels come from, is the depths of my creative mind. But I guess the advice I would give people is I've learned to batch like kind of like anything. You allocate time and create 8 to 10 reels or videos at one time and schedule them out. I'm one of those people that have a lot of interesting and great ideas, like in the shower and on walks and in, all the strange places. So I often find myself just, sending myself an email with that idea. So I'll gather all my ideas together and try to record them all at once. But I super appreciate that. And yeah, I just like to have fun. It's really my outlet to have fun and share who I really am behind the businesses.
Yeah, no, I love it. And that's so great because I feel like sometimes we have a brand and we tend to get so stuffy or uncomfortable or unsure of what we should be talking about. And I feel like your Instagram account really just brings to life who you are as a person, which then translate into your business and your product. So that is awesome to see. I love it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. So you started off by saying that you were in the service side of the business for years, and you had successful businesses through that avenue, I would say. And it's very interesting. And interestingly enough, I found that a lot of like female entrepreneurs that I've been speaking to lately have transitioned from the service side of the business into a physical product. And that's why I'm bringing to life all these stories, because I feel like I'm the same way. I've worked in service side of business and worked with brands, and I'm like, oh, I want to launch a product as well. And so I'm putting this out there for all those women who are considering it and really wanting to like dive into launching their own product. So talk us through, like, you said it happened through the pandemic, but let us know, like, how did you make that decision to actually jump into a physical product, and why the slipper, which you kind of alluded to in the beginning, but walk us through that journey.
Yeah, so I'll give a bit of context on what services I was in. People are probably like, what the heck was she doing for 10 years? A bit of backstory. I met my current business partner. This is our third business together. We met during our university days at the University of Toronto in Canada. We were both actually on the dance team. So dance really brought us together at our university. We met literally at the audition for the dance team in second year university. I still remember to this day locking eyes with her and was like, I am meant to do something with this girl. And here we are 12 years later, still running businesses together. But while we were in university, we really found a collective passion for putting on events. We were doing charity events, arts events, fashion shows, dance shows, a lot of stuff to give back to charity. And we absolutely loved it. So that kind of accelerated us realizing we really worked well together, could produce incredible things that made a lot of impact in our communities. So that led to us launching our first business, Stratus Events, which was an event planning production company. We had a lot of success with that, hit six figures in our second year of running the business, and did some of the biggest events in Canada, like Toronto Fashion Week, Canadian Arts and Fashion Awards, and a lot of charity events for organizations like You for Change, Covenant House Toronto. So loved that. And that kind of led to us, a big thing with being in the services is you are the product. So I think it was always a goal for us to get into products, because there is a lot of, to be perfectly honest, like burnout that comes with being in the services. I mean, I'm sure some of you out there have been a part of planning big events, but you're spending 14, sometimes 16 hours on your feet when you're executing events. It's a lot of hard deadlines, and it was really fun during our 20s. But as we were getting getting into our 30s, we're like, I don't know how much longer we can do this. Fast forward, we also had another business, City MOGULS, also an events-based organization really geared towards entrepreneurs and helping entrepreneurs. But when the pandemic hit, we were running these two in-person focused event companies, and everything went on pause at the beginning of the pandemic. Our event production company, we basically closed up shop. It was just too hard to try to do the online thing with a lot of the types of clients we were working with. And with City Moguls, our other business, we managed to pivot it online, built that membership online community, which was fantastic to experience how to do that. But we really felt like this void during the pandemic. And it was actually because of one of our mentors, who's been an incredible mentor to us, who sat us down and was like, what do you girls got to do? You need to get into the product space. What do women need right now during the pandemic? And it was like a light bulb moment for Danny and I, because it was the first time we were spending a lot of time at home. And we had nothing to put on our feet. Like, seriously, we were, as ex-professional dancers,
Yeah.
like we got 50-year-old knees and hips. I'm not even joking. Like, I wake up and I'm like sore. So we struggled to find shoes, and bought like every slipper on the market, and we're like, damn, there is nothing out there that's really ergonomic, made for all day wear, and is also cute. So that really led to us just getting so jazzed and hyped up about creating something for women. And yeah, here we are.
How exciting, how amazing. And I found in my entrepreneurial journey, it has been difficult to find a mentor. So I'd love to hear from your perspective. And this is something you did as part of City Moguls as well, where you kind of like really curated entrepreneurs and tried to find that like mentor mentee relationship. So curious to, hear some hot tips that you could share with the listeners as to how they can go about finding a great mentor.
Yeah. So I'm one of the biggest reasons we actually founded City Moguls was for two main reasons. Number one, when we were starting our event planning business, one of the biggest things for any entrepreneur is constantly networking, meeting new people, opening up your network, for various reasons, potential clients, investors, advisors, mentors, all of that. And we found back in 2015, when we were in the height of our event planning business, that there really wasn't a lot of like fun, organic, unique ways to meet people. A lot of like the networking stuff out there was very like stingy and awkward, and like, my business card, here's your business card. So we really wanted to flip that experience on its head, and that led to us starting City Moguls. Another big reason we wanted to launch City Moguls was we really wanted to bridge that gap between early stage entrepreneurs and established entrepreneurs. So that led to us launching our signature event, the MOGUL Awards, which featured top entrepreneurs in a fashion show for charity. So a very unique event that celebrates them, but also gives, people the opportunity to meet and connect with them after the show and all of that. So yeah, we definitely like recognized that and found it really hard to find mentors. So that led to us starting a community so that we could, give other entrepreneurs the opportunity to meet these people. I think my biggest piece of advice for people that are like, I can't find a mentor, I'm struggling, I really need support and guidance, is there's two avenues you can go. Number one, there's so many incredible communities out there like City Moguls that have mentorship programs established for early stage entrepreneurs. So they'll take the time to find you a mentor and match you one-on-one with them. If you're really like a bit of an introvert and find it overwhelming and scary to reach out to people cold and, ask for advice, there are a lot of programs out there for you to really find a mentor. Number two, I think entrepreneurs understand the value of their time, and entrepreneurs are also some of the most incredibly giving and like want to help other entrepreneurs. I genuinely have always found that. If you're reaching out to someone you've looked up to for years on LinkedIn or Instagram or that kind of thing, I think going in and knowing exactly what you're looking for advice on them on is a really good starting point. So not reaching out to be them and being like, hey, I'm looking for a mentor, will you be my mentor? More so being like, hey, I saw that you launched a book 5 years ago, and like it's so big. Like, I wanted to pick your brain on, your marketing or launch strategy. How did you do it? Can I have 15 minutes of your time? So I think just like getting that initial hook and being clear and intentional with why you respect and admire them will get them intrigued, and you can build that relationship naturally into a mentorship role rather than just being like, be my mentor.
Yeah. I love it. No, that's awesome. And it's like I've had that advice before. It's like just like to the point, clear, concise, get in there, ask your question, do a little flattery because flattery never hurts anyone. Um, and just everyone is so cautious of their time, so you have to respect that as well. Okay, awesome. So great segue there. Thank you so much for that. So let's get back to the launch of the product. Tell me, as a service entrepreneur to begin with, making the leap into the physical product world, what are the first steps? How do you even wrap your head around what do you do? You're like, okay, I work in X service industry. I found a gap. I want to fill this gap. I have a product idea. What do you do next? Where do you go from there?
If we had had this call like a year and a half ago, my answers would have been completely different. But I would tell people to get in their seats, get ready for a long journey, because it takes a lot longer than you think to really launch a product. And that's definitely something we've learned. For context, like I was saying earlier, we came up with this idea during the middle of the pandemic. So around, May 2020. And our first step really was, researching what's on the market. So we kind of did a SWOT analysis, which was a skill we've learned in our other businesses of everything that's out there. And for those who aren't familiar, your SWOT analysis, you're looking at the strengths and weaknesses of a potential competitor and opportunities and threats. Literally Google SWOT analysis and you'll find great templates. But we did a SWOT analysis of 20 slipper companies. We bought their products. We tried them on at home. We wrote what we loved and hated. We audited what their reviews were saying. And we really found opportunities doing that proper SWOT analysis on a product that we could create. And so that was step number one. Step number two was actually talking to people and understanding what their pain points are with their slippers. So for us, we're, myself and my co-founder, Danny, we're only two women. And especially with footwear, it's such a niche thing. And people need good footwear, and so much of what's out there is crap. So we did a lot of surveys, a lot of one-on-one calls. I think within our first year, we probably talked or received feedback from maybe 300 to 500 people.
Wow.
To really get a broad consensus of what people love and don't love about their current slippers. So that process in itself was a 6-month journey, just really understanding the market, where the opportunities are, and what people are really looking for. So once we kind of had an idea of what people were really looking for and what was missing, and our big three things were slippers currently aren't designed for all day wear. So they really lack an ergonomic design. Number two, I don't know if you find this, Sam, but if I wear my slippers for an hour, they get super duper stinky.
Yeah.
There's gotta, because you're wearing bare feet, they get sweaty. We're like, oh my God. We're like, we need to solve this. So slippers get really stinky fast. So we wanted to come up with a solution to prevent odor or minimize odor. And number three, you would never usually be caught dead wearing slippers outside of your house. So right. They're frumpy, they're fluffy,
Yep.
So we wanted to make something that was stylish, fashion forward, and you could wear to and from the grocery store and not be like, I hope I don't run into Jessie or whoever.
Yes, yeah.
We really narrowed in on those three problems and solutions. And then came the hardest part, especially during the pandemic, was finding someone who could make it. Mm-hmm. So that was a very, very long journey, especially because in in non-pandemic times to create a product, at least in retail, you would go to like trade shows or places. They have like these big conferences where you can go, and manufacturers and suppliers are there, so you can connect directly with them. During the pandemic, it was a lot of just like reaching out to manufacturers around the world. Do you make shoes? No? Okay, next. So it was a long journey to find that right manufacturer to create something from scratch. And but we found them eventually. And yeah, so it's taken us a lot longer than we thought, especially to really construct something from scratch. Like, we're not using any existing mold or last. So it's taken us a long time, but we're in our final stages of our prototypes now, and we're getting ready to launch in the fall. So very exciting.
That's awesome. So talk to us about that like last stretch. Well, first of all, let me actually just give you my thought. I love the fact that you guys surveyed 300 to 500 people. I can't tell you how many times I speak to people who are looking to launch a product but never do any like actual surveying of people out there who would likely use the product. Um, and that's such a big miss. And I find that a lot of people miss that. And not only did you do that, but you did it like that's a huge amount of people that you've interviewed. I remember like working with SaaS organizations that were looking to like bring out the next product in their product offering. And they would survey like 20 people. And these are like big software companies that are looking to like bring out the next thing. So kudos to you guys. 300 to 500 people is amazing. So that is awesome. I hope everyone has like really honed in on that, because I think that's a huge part of it. And it's good. It helps just with have a successful launch. Like, you know what people are looking for and what makes your product unique, right? Your USP. So that's great. So that last stretch, your third part, you're at the manufacturing stage. What is the step like? What is your design process? Are you guys designers? Do you design the shoe? Does that happen at the manufacturer? Did you have to find a designer separately? Like, what does that process look like?
Yeah. So this is the thing with niche products. Like, we are not shoe designers or fashion designers. We were just frustrated consumers who were so passionate about creating something we didn't have. So that was definitely a big step, was finding and talking to like footwear experts. So during actually our first year, we brought on a podiatrist onto the team. So someone who's like a foot expert and understands the foot and how to make something ergonomic. Our team of podiatrists really helped us understand all of those key elements of the slipper that need to be ergonomic and really designed for all day wear. So that was a big addition to our team, as well as a footwear technician. So somebody who's been in the industry for many, many years, more years than we have, and has worked for some of the biggest brands biggest footwear brands in the company. So they're actually the ones we're like, they're consulting us on the design and making sure that, you know, we're checking all the boxes and making sure things that are going to our manufacturer are accurate and on par.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. So as you're going through this process, one of the things that is like a hot topic out there is sustainability. So is that something that you guys have kept in mind as you're creating this product? And what does that look like? I know that you have, like you mentioned, like stinky slippers, right? And so you've solved it by having the removable insoles that are washable, which therefore extends the life of your slipper. So in addition to that, what else have you thought about as it relates to sustainability?
Yeah, sustainability has been a big thing for us, because especially in the footwear and, you know, fashion industry in general, you know, there's so much waste, and it's just, you know, we have to start building a circular economy. So that's been a big thing for us, and a lot of it has come down to just really being intentional with every single fabric and feature, like all the materials that we're using are really intentional. So, yes, with the replaceable insoles, our slippers are lasting longer. We're also using a lot of natural derivative materials rather than plastics. There's actually a lot of plastics in regular shoes. So for example, one thing we're playing around with is using as a part of our insole something that will naturally degrade over time. A big thing for us too is like recirculating other like old slippers into the product. So we don't want people to get to buy our slippers and then throw their slippers out. So we've actually partnered with a charity called Souls for Souls. And you're with that charity partner, you're able to trade in your used slippers and give them to, someone in the community that would actually use them. So that's a big part of our impact, is also keeping old or gently used slippers out of the landfill and encouraging our customers to give them back through Souls for Souls.
Awesome. I love that, because one of the things that you guys talk about, and you've done this throughout all of your businesses, is just how much you give to charity. So I was, obviously it was a natural question that was going to come up, but you brought it up in terms of like, there is some charity work that's being done through the organization as well, giving back to the community. So I love that. That's awesome. Okay, perfect. So I would say probably last question for us as we wrap up this amazing interview is talk to us about, okay, first I'm going to have you obviously plug your website. So where do we find these fabulous slippers?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's been a wild journey, but we are launched. We are launching through a Kickstarter campaign over the month of September. So that will allow our slipper fanatics out there that are so desperate and in need of these to pre-order them on our Kickstarter, and you will get them in 3 to 6 months. What's great about getting them on Kickstarter too is you're saving about 30% off of retail price, which is awesome. So if you want to join our Kickstarter, head to our website. It's www.maveandchez.com. If you're wondering how to spell Chez, maybe you should have paid it more attention in French class, but it's Chez. So MAVEANDCHEZ.
Awesome. That's perfect. I love it. And I don't know, we're like on the same page, because the reason I brought up the website is because I wanted to talk about Kickstarter for people that are out there looking to launch a product and, have or have not heard of Kickstarter. Like, why use Kickstarter? Why was that part of your launch? And like, how does that process work? What does that look like to someone who is like unknown or who doesn't know that side of the
Oh gosh.
equation?
Yes. It is. Wow. I mean, so I actually wrote an entire blog post on this on our Mave Chez website. So I'll give you the link, Sam, if you want to include it in your show notes. But obviously, the biggest thing with launching a product is it's very expensive. Like, for example, all these footwear technicians, these surveys, everything cost us money. So if you don't have the personal capital yourself, using a Kickstarter or Indiegogo, it's a type of donation reward based crowdfunding. So everybody that backs your campaign is getting your product, but it's also giving you some capital to pay for those expenses to get the product made. So it really is a powerful way to fundraise and get support to get your product off the ground. And, I would also say that most of the manufacturers out there, especially if you're creating a product for consumers, will require you to pre-order like a minimum amount. So you can't just be like, okay, I want 50 pairs. They're going to want you to pre-order at least 500, sometimes 1,000. So, that's a lot of money. So, for us, we definitely invested a lot ourselves. But the crowdfunding campaign not only helps us prove to that, people want these slippers, but get that capital to be able to order that first run of
Right.
inventory.
Got it. Perfect. Awesome. One of the things I think I complimented you on this when I reached out to you, that I saw you were doing that was different. I feel like it was different. And I've seen like launch tactics a lot. So one of the things that you had was like a VIP sign up. And your VIP sign up, it was like literally $5. Like that was all you needed to sign up to secure your pair. So that I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that is in addition to Kickstarter. That was like is that a separate initiative outside of the Kickstarter program?
Yeah, so that is actually a marketing strategy, just to give everybody on here some advice. So we read this awesome, awesome book. I'm just going to make sure I have the right author. It's called Crowdfunded by Mark Pacoda. And one of the tips he suggested was creating 2 funnels to build your pre-sale list. So there's this strategy out there that, if someone's willing to put down $1, $2, even $5, there's a much higher chance that they're actually going to buy the product when it comes time to put down that money. So it was a strategy for us to like see how many people would actually just put $5 down to get access to our slippers. But it's also helping us build our like loyalty program. So we're starting to play around with like what other incentives and things can we give to our our loyal community members who are a part of our community. What else can we give to them other than slippers? Access before anyone else, better discounts, all that. So I would strongly recommend reading that book, Crowdfunded, because it gave us a lot of good knowledge from all of these other Kickstarters of what's really worked for them to surpass their goals on Kickstarter.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely add that to the show notes as well, and I will take a read myself. But yeah, I thought that was a great strategy. I love it. I think that, not only are you getting an email address, and I have to say that, but you're also getting that high intent customer, which is like even better because they're on your email list and they are high intent. They've already put a deposit down. And that is a great strategy for loyalty, which is also awesome. I think when I like signed up, it was like you're now signed up for the first edition, right? So it's like that early adopter kind of mentality that, those people who are signing up kind of have or, driving towards. So that was great. I love that. So I think it's a great strategy. Well,
awesome. Take that from a marketer is great.
and that's the thing. I've seen so many strategies, and that one really stuck out because it felt very different. And I feel like the way you guys executed it was different as well. It wasn't like, the messaging was different. It wasn't like, sign up for $5 to reserve your spot. Like it wasn't that kind of messaging. It was very like, it was a little bit emotional, I feel like. And so it really, it made sense. So great job there. I love that. But yes, Victoria, this was very insightful. I think the listeners out there can have so many takeaways they're going to take away from listening to you as you talk through your transition from being a service-based entrepreneur to a product-based business. And thank you so much for your time. We are so excited. I cannot wait to get my first pair. I will be waiting. I wish I had a pair to like be wearing during this interview, but we'll have to do a follow-up after you've launched and just get the lowdown of what happened. And then by then I'll be wearing my pair.
Absolutely. By then you will definitely be wearing yours.
Of course. Thank you. Take care.